The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schaap. You may know me from ESPN's Outside the Lines and Sports Center. What you probably don't know is that I've suffered from Crohn's disease for almost 20 years. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps, Be Heard walk program is the largest national walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To learn more about how you can help and to find a walk site near you, please visit www.cctakesteps.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Hilary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And good morning to you, one and all. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Yes, indeed. Every Friday we take things a little bit lighter as we slide on into the weekend to celebrate some ever-growing freedom. On Fridays, we also like to, just talk about just about anything. So just about anything goes. Keep it clean, please. The line that you can call in with whatever on your mind is 603-835-3226. Today, we'll be getting into all kinds of stuff, including some of the G20 information. Yeah, the Trump is making an appearance over there at the G20. Lots of interesting little factoids going on over there. He's met with Putin already, and of course, you know, the media is like, the mainstream media is all aghast. Oh, they're going to meet. Putin is going to shake his hand. Oh my God! I mean, it's just. They were just beside themselves, agog with excitement that Putin and Trump were actually going to, the two colluders were going to actually meet for the first time in public after Trump has been elected, and they're actually going to shake hands. I wonder if CNN is going to be there and say, see, look, there's a secret handshake going on there. Look what Trump's doing to Putin's arm. He said, yeah, that means it's okay, Putin. We got your back, buddy. You know, we got this thing. Yeah. Actually, you know what? If psychologists will tell you, if you actually see pictures of Putin shaking Trump's hand, now here's the really interesting thing, and people are trying to analyze this garbage like you would not believe, but according to psychologists, when it comes to handshaking. Now, Putin thought he was going to be dominant by putting out his hand first. The person who obviously, now usually what happens is that the person who goes to shake, there are two things that happen depending on how they put out their hand. The person who puts out their hand first is either trying to show dominance. If they have an open palm when they're going to shake, open palm, wide fingers like Putin did, it's meant to show dominance. I'm going to allow you to shake my hand. And of course, then there's the meek, submissive one, like, I'm going to shake your hand. I'm going to put it out there first, okay? And they usually have their palms either straight, facing downward or outward, but not upward. But Putin clearly had his palm facing upward in a dominance. Now, Trump, being Trump, according to people in the know, saw this and decided, well, you're not going to get the best of me, buddy. So if you notice when they first shake, what does Trump do? He grabs his hand, pulls it towards him a little bit, and takes his left hand and places it under Putin's forearm and taps it. Now, usually when you place your hand on somebody's shoulder, it's a sign of familiarity, like your friends, your family or something like that, and it's a sign of affection and closeness. But when you grab somebody's forearm, you're basically telling them, I got you, buddy. You're mine. So Putin extended his hand as a form of aggressive, alpha maleness. Trump sees it and totally destroys it. Now, I know it's just a handshake, people, but you gotta understand body language. And I have studied body language for quite some time now. And that's basically, I mean, Putin is, he basically takes him, he unnerves Putin a little bit by that action. And one of the things you can do to unnerve somebody, you can test this out if you want. When you go shake somebody's hand, they go to shake your hand. The norm is that the fingers wrap around the other person's hand and they wrap around your hand and you give firm shake. You want to freak somebody out, unnerve them. Take your shaking hand, the hand that you're shaking with, form a peace sign with it, basically, the peace sign, and take those two fingers as you go to shake the hand, place them on somebody else's wrist as you're shaking their hand and tap it. You will freak them out. And I'm just saying, these are little subtle things that people do as far as body language to well, in the world of politics and business, it helps to establish dominance. And obviously, when you've got two alpha males like Putin and Trump in the same room, one of them they're not going to stop until one of them is clearly dominant. That's just one, that's human nature. Two, that's the world of politics and the world of business. Because the dominant one has the upper hand, obviously. And it's funny. It's just funny. But and I know people they're talking about, well, Trump is taller than Putin. Putin's not actually all that tall. He's what average, just about average height, about 5'9", 5'10". Well, Trump is like 6'2", and Obama was like 6'2", 6'1", somewhere around there. So, but Putin is not. Now, a lot of people might say, well, the height has a lot to do with dominance. Well, tell that to the Japanese and Chinese. Chinese leaders don't typically tend to be tall. But those little evil monsters, let me tell you, they are. And I don't want to get into other things, but it's very interesting. If you just pay attention, you can read people. There used to be a program, I think it was on Fox. It's been a few years since it was on now. An Irishman starred in it. I can't remember his name. But it was all about micro expressions, not microaggressions, micro expressions, and reading people and being able to tell. And there's a lot of scientific truth to back that stuff up. There's scientific data to back up microfacial expressions, body expressions. It's quite interesting. All that stuff is quite interesting. Now, I'm not an expert on it. I'm definitely a student of it. But it is what it is. Because you had, what was the other part about Merkel actually shaking Trump's hand? Everybody was surprised by that. I'm like, really? You're surprised by Angela Merkel shaking Donald Trump's hand? The reality, and she gave, Trudeau the traditional European kiss on the cheek, right? Well, I mean, Trudeau is he's just another socialist like she is, a globalist socialist. So, she's probably thinking, I've got somebody here on my side, along with Macron. It'll be interesting to see. And of course, the G20 picture. You got some in the press who are all agog about the fact that Trump is not front and center. Well, because he tends to be front and center in many instances, but in this particular case, evidently what happened was what happens in the G20 picture is that the world leaders are staged. Now, what do I mean by that? By tradition, the longest serving official is front and center. Well, that's where Angela Merkel was. I guess she's the longest serving. And frankly, there's another reason for it. Another reason is because usually, some of these people, they can be there for years and years. And U.S. presidents are only there a maximum of 8. So it's quite often that the United States is not near or in the center of this, and it's a weak attempt to try to puff up the rest of the countries and knock down the United States a peg or two. Because for a U.S. president to stand in the center of that, they've got to be in their second term at least. And, probably somewhere around year 6, the second year of their second term. So but as soon as there's a new president, then of course, like Trump, he hasn't even been there a year yet. Well, he's going to be off to the side. And there's all this maneuvering that happens. I mean, you would be surprised on the protocols and all this kind of crap that goes into when world leaders have to meet. There is all kinds of behind the scenes movement. Well, this world leader won't sit on in this particular direction or fashion or room. He's got to sit in this, and they do all kinds of crap like that. You would not believe some of the stories I have heard about so-called protocol. Did you know that there's wasn't there a TV show about that too? Not wasn't it back in the 90s? Protocol. I think it was a TV show too. So there's a whole department within the State Department. I think the protocol department is within the State Department. There's a whole department within the State Department. Now it doesn't have hundreds of people in it, but it's got a few people in it, and it's dedicated strictly to understanding and utilizing the protocol of different countries and world leaders. And supposedly we do this, we always tend to bend over backwards for even the tiniest country as if, we're the big bad United States, and we're going to show that we can bend over backwards and be friendly and accommodating. But the whole point is behind this whole thing is if you understand somebody else's protocol and you utilize it, you can tweak it whenever you want to make a statement to that world leader. I mean, you could, maybe you don't. That world leader doesn't shake hands, so the protocol is you don't shake hands. And if you feel like being nice and you're the president, you don't extend your hand. You bow and you take that. But if you feel like being dominant for whatever reason, the president they'll know this protocol and they'll extend their hand. And they'll let everybody see it. Now, the other leader, he doesn't want to be embarrassed. Believe me, they don't. So no matter what they do at that point, they have just been dropped a peg or two. So this is why all this stuff is important. Body language and first action is very important. Now, it's not going to determine the entire outcome of something. That's not the way it is, but it definitely will point you in a certain direction. It's the opening salvo in a game of chess, and usually I've heard some chess masters say that the very first move of the two opponents, the first move of each opponent will determine who the victor is. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't play chess. But I've heard this from more than one person who's really good at chess. The first two moves of any chess match, the first move of each opponent, and basically the first two will determine who the winner is. I don't know how they figure that out, but that's the way it works out, really, in real life, too. So I'm sure we'll see more film and video coming out of the G20, and we'll see. We'll probably learn some of the things that Putin and Trump talked about. I don't. It's. But of course, you're going to have like CNN and other news outlets who are anti-Trump, basically. They're going to analyze this stuff to death and make it look like that Trump was just cowering in the presence of his good old buddy because he's a puppet of Putin. Don't doubt me that they're going to try to pull that kind of crap off. Trust me, folks. I mean, it's just the way the left is. The left is, and they're not going to change for anything. Anyway, went a little bit long there. We'll take a break, be right back, and start getting into some of the fun stuff. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shea brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
603-835-3226. Welcome back to this Freedom Friday edition of the Rod Eccles Show as we get down to brass tacks here. We'll talk more about the G20 summit meeting. We'll talk something about what George Clooney did or is doing. I know a lot of people don't care about what George Clooney's doing, but it's really quite telling. And something from what's his name, Andrew Garfield. Yeah, the British actor who became famous by portraying the ousted co-founder and pal of the Social Network, the movie Social Network about Facebook, and what he's done and said, that's got a whole bunch of people ticked off. Yeah, you can't. Unbelievable how unforgiving the left is. Really, it's just surprising. But first, we have to get through today's holidays for Friday, July 7th, in the year of our Lord 2017. Today is Comic Sans Day. Now, Comic Sans is a, what do they call it? Is a, good grief, a typeset. A common one, actually. In fact, it's called Comic Sans because it's usually the typeset or type of lettering or style of lettering that's used in comic books, and that's why it's called Comic Sans. It's kind of almost freehand type of thing, but just open a comic book, and that's basically what Comic Sans is. So it's Comic Sans Day. I don't know what you do on Comic Sans Day. Do you write only in Comic Sans? And so all of my correspondence today, wherever I can, that allows me to change the font. Comic Sans is a font, so I will use the Comic Sans font today. I will wherever it allows me. Not every place you go to, especially social media, will allow. Facebook doesn't allow you to change your font, but you can make memes or pictures with fonts and then post those. Maybe I'll do that instead. So every response I'll have today will be in the form of a Comic Sans meme. That'll take forever. Trust, I appreciate it. I get a lot of responses now to a lot of my postings, and it takes time to respond to some of these things. Obviously, some postings get a lot more response and hit a nerve more than others. So if I actually did that, it would take me all day long to respond to just one posting. Today is also Father-Daughter Take a Walk Together Day. Not take your daughter to work day, but take a walk together. What the hell is that? Father-Daughter Take a Walk Together Day? Yeah, that's what it is. So if you've got a daughter, you've got to go on a walk with her today, because it is Father-Daughter Take a Walk Together Day. Today is also National Macaroni Day. Now, not international macaroni, not Italian macaroni, not Chinese macaroni, but National Macaroni Day. So you can eat, but you get, I don't know, mac and cheese, macaroni and cheese is, I guess, it is Macaroni Day. So have the macaroni any way you want to. Today is also National Strawberry Sundae Day. You'd think that Strawberry Sundae Day would be on a Sunday, but no, it's today. I mean, it's still on the weekend. So it's National Strawberry Sundae Day. It is also, this should come with a spell. Anybody remember the movie Liar Liar? With Jim Carrey? And he couldn't tell a lie for like a whole day or something like that. It was actually a very funny movie. He couldn't tell a lie. Well, today is Tell the Truth Day. Yes. So you cannot. We should make sure that this is sent over to CNN and all our politicians down in Washington, D.C. and the state capitals all over the country. Today is Tell the Truth Day. Let's see how well that works. It is also, hey, to go along with the Tell the Truth Day, it is also Global Forgiveness Day. Forgive those who trespass against you, as those who you've trespassed against forgive you. And if all that forgiveness and truth-telling doesn't do it for you today, well, then you've got one last thing at the end of the day to sit back on and enjoy. No, it's not wine, it's not cigars, but today is Chocolate Day. Now, I always thought Chocolate Day was like Mother's Day and Valentine's Day and any day a woman says so. But no, evidently today is Chocolate Day. So grab some chocolate. Enjoy it.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
Just make sure that if you're going to go out walking with your daughter, take some chocolate. That'll make the walk all that much better. Just saying. Today's useless fact, by the way, we try to do this every day, but fact of the day is that if you're into solar stuff, if you like solar, energy and things like that, well, 500,000 solar panels per day were installed back in 2015, according to the solar power industry. But hey, that didn't stop global warming, did it? That's a lot of solar panels. Most of them were probably manufactured in China, but 500,000 solar panels all over the world per day, all over the world, were installed in 2015. 2 years, if they kept that pace up, man, we should be covered in solar panels, right? There shouldn't be any. Oh, we're not. Yeah, I know. Some people think that I'm anti-alternative energy because I make fun of this stuff. I'm not anti-alternative energy. I like the idea of alternative energy. I really do. But if I'm going to utilize it, I want it to actually work. I would love to put up a windmill and solar panels on my property. But it's extremely expensive still, even with government subsidies. It's ridiculously expensive. I mean, there's an off, well, it's not completely off the grid, but there's an off-grid home in Dublin, New Hampshire that I toured a few years ago, and they had this this array, the solar array in the yard. Now, first of all, Dublin is not a cheap town to live in. There are $1 million mansions and properties in Dublin, New Hampshire. Right? And it's a little hamlet. It's a little sleepy town. There's really no industry there whatsoever. I mean, there's a few businesses, but it's really just a bedroom community. And you're probably, well, bedroom community of where? I don't know where these people work, but it's probably, I don't know, 40, 45 minutes outside of Manchester, New Hampshire, and Nashua, New Hampshire, and it's probably a good 20, 30 minutes from Keene, New Hampshire. So it's not like, well, if you have money, if you have a lot of money and you work somewhere within southern New Hampshire, you might live in the communities or towns of Bedford or Hollis or Dublin. There are a lot of big houses out there in Dublin. So it's not a cheap town. And let me put it, there's no affordable housing in Dublin. Let's put it that way. But there's this property, one house, that they converted over to being off-grid. Now, being in Dublin is not completely off-grid. They're still connected, and I guess when they produce more than they need, that it actually feeds back into the grid. But they had this array. Now it cost them over $500,000 to put this off-grid array of solar panels, a small little windmill, and batteries up the wazoo in order to store all this energy for later use. And of course, they had these different types of appliances. I mean, the refrigerator was just one funny-looking thing. It was basically a cooler. Well, that's what it looked like. It was this big, giant cooler. I don't know if they still make them that way, but it was ugly. It was over-insulated because it can't use a lot of energy, right? And this was before LED lighting became fashionable. So there were the compact fluorescent lights were everywhere in order to reduce electric use. But it was expensive. They were talking about how much they were utilizing every single state and federal grant and rebate and all that other kind of stuff that they could possibly get, and they still spent almost $500,000 on this stuff. Now, that's insane. Now, granted, this was early 2000s, but still, this stuff hasn't really come down that much in price. It's overly expensive. And one of the reasons why they decided to put up a small little windmill was because, hey, lo and behold, they found out that they weren't getting much electricity being produced on a cloudy day. So they'd hope that the windmill would supplement the wonderful solar panels in the backyard on a cloudy day. Well, I mean, we're not southern New Hampshire is not the sunniest place on the planet. We don't have, the most sunny days in the year. So what do you do it's probably a good half the year where it's at least partly cloudy here. So what do you do on those days? And what do you do at night? I mean, where you can get some good, decent wind. But back then, even then, windmills, you had to have, I think it was like at least an 8 mile an hour breeze for the windmill to turn, to even begin turning. So it's just, this stuff, it's not there yet. I don't know if it ever will be there. I don't know if solar power, the way we currently utilize it and trap it, is the alternative energy or not. At this particular juncture, I don't think it is. It has to be. We have to do it some other way. So I'm not against alternative. I like the idea of alternative. I like the idea of being able just to take water and separate it into oxygen and hydrogen molecules and burn in the hydrogen. What? You want to talk? There's nothing more renewable on the planet than water. Maybe that's the way we have to go. I don't know. I'm into alternative, anything, other than I'm into anything that becomes more available, more abundant, and cheaper than oil. But right now, that is not solar power and it is not wind power. Those are very expensive technologies, and they're not very reliable. But yeah, I would love to put solar panels on my property, my house, and put up a windmill and do the geothermal heating and cooling thing. Again, it's a beautiful system, but again, it's rather expensive. And it takes a few years to get that money back. Now, geothermal is a lot more efficient, and you get a return on your investment sooner than any other alternative source of heating and cooling, but it's still up front. The cost is still a lot more prohibitive, which is why more people don't do it. It's a lot more prohibitive up front. But in the long run, you get paid back. If you're in the house long enough, you start to actually pocket the savings on an annual basis. And those units tend to last longer than our traditional oil or gas heating units. So it's if your house if it's gonna cost you $12,000 for a new furnace system, when it comes time to replace or put in a furnace, it's gonna cost $12,000. Figure it's gonna cost you for that same type of system or size around $18,000 to $20,000. Yes, I've looked into stuff like this. It's about $18,000 to $20,000. It's almost double, just under double the price of a conventional system. But if you're in the house in about 8 to 10 years, you could start to see a savings and a payback. So you got to be there 10 years. You got to be there a decade. And a lot of people like to move around. So, but there's that upfront cost. Just saying. So 500,000 solar panels per day were installed back in 2015. Now, George Clooney. Did you hear about this? About the Clooney man? Well, Clooney evidently he wants to leave England. He wants to take his wonderful wife. What's her name? She got a funny name. He wants to take his wonderful life and his new twins. It's amazing how people change when they have their own children. It really is amazing. And there was I wouldn't call it a study. There was a study that was done. And there were a number of current world leaders that don't have children of their own. Theresa May, Angela Merkel, they don't have kids. So to put your children in danger, they have no clue what it means to do that. Now, for the longest time, Clooney for the longest time was a playboy. He's one of the world's most eligible bachelors for years and years and years and years. He's just a playboy. He used to say, "I'll never get married." And then he met this woman, who she's a beautiful woman, but in my view, she's overrated, and she's only this goddess simply because she's married to Clooney. That's my personal opinion. I think she's pretty, but I don't think she's everything that everybody says that she is. I think she tries too hard, to tell you the truth. I really do. I think she tries too hard. But hey, she's got the money because Clooney's worth $1 bazillion himself. Him and his partner just sold his alcohol business for a few $100 million. So Clooney he's got mansions all over the place. He's got estates, in various places. And evidently he hired some ex-Secret Service people to do a study for security because he was worried about security in England for his family. And he wanted to see where it was going to be safer for. As it turns out, his estate in L.A., outside of L.A., is much safer than his estate in the countryside of England. Why? Because Open Borders Clooney has found out that all that open borders crap has led to the destabilization of safety in England where he currently resides. Well, I don't understand this whole thing of Americans moving to England, by the way. Do they think it makes them more upper crust? Because, yes, I live in England now. We live in the English countryside and we have an English manner. Yes, we're so much better than all of you peons who go to my movies, my boring-ass movies. But so now he's saying because of the things that he did and he advocated before he became a daddy. Now that he is a daddy, he looks at the things that he used to do and used to advocate and finds out that it puts his little chillin' in danger. So now he's scrambling and saying, we're just going to have to move. We can't stay here. It's too dangerous for the twins, honey. We got to move now. We got to move back. We got to move back to L.A. It's safer in L.A. Whoever would have thought that it's safer to be in your estate and mansion outside of Los Angeles than it is to be in the English countryside? Maybe because we don't have a bunch of Islamic terrorists. Well, I know we got Islamic terrorists in this country, but maybe it's because they're not overrunning the countryside in California, at least not yet, like they do in England. That might be something. That might have something to do with it. I'm pretty damn sure. But here's talk about out of touch. Now, while he's trying to figure out where he's going to move his family to safety, he's decided to take a private jet out of England to Italy for a month-long vacation. Anybody? When was the last time you went on a month-long vacation? When was the last time any of you out there took a private jet anywhere? But when was the last time you took a private jet to go on a month-long vacation in Italy or anywhere else? I'm just asking. No, if you're a snowbird, it's not the same thing. Because if you're in the Northeast and you're a snowbird, you're an old person that is retired, and you drive or you fly down to Florida, Arizona every December or January, and you stay there until March or April. But Yeah, that's not a month's. You're not on vacation. You're just trying to escape the cold because your bones are too brittle to take the cold. I get that, but you don't live in mansions either. You have your house in the north that's probably paid off, and then you probably have some little condo or condex in Florida or Arizona in some little community. And why do you? Well, you pick those places, one, because it's warm, and two, because it's cheap. Housing is cheap. Now, housing is in many parts of Florida is not as cheap as it used to be, but it's still pretty cheap. But in any case, there you go. So Clooney's moving. He's moving because England has become too dangerous for him and his family. The wonderful Playboy star has decided that since having twins, what is he, like 60? I don't get that either. I look, if I hit 60, Jack, I'm not even going to be thinking about having kids. If I end up with some trophy wife, I'm going to say, you better already come with kids because you ain't getting any from me. Not at that age.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
(603-835-3226). Lots of stuff here in the paper pile to go over with you this morning. We will get back to the G20 summit in next hour. more stuff. By the way, if you're a Bieber fan, he's in Australia at Hillsongs. Now, if anybody knows what Hillsongs is a mega spiritual Christian church in Australia. I don't know why the hell he's there, but evidently somebody in Hillsongs wanted him there. So, just so you know, he's got a Spanish song hit. I heard it on the radio for the first time the other day, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Bieber's going, Latino, and singing in Spanish. And I've got some Puerto Rican friends, man. They have no filter. I'm not going to tell you exactly what they said about Bieber in this song, but basically, he's not winning any friends in the Puerto Rican community. Let's just put it that way. Oh, you have to love your fellow citizen, American citizen called Puerto Ricans. Those people have no filter. And they're funny as hell. Love them to death. Anyway, by the way, did you hear about this? This is a story from last week, actually, that I've been meaning to bring to you. Artificial intelligent painters invent new AI artists or painters invent new styles of art. Okay. But here's a story from newscientist.com. Every once in a while, you get a painter like Claude Monet and Pablo Monet. Love Monet stuff. Actually, I just saw four original Monet paintings at a museum last night. Somebody's birthday. And they wanted to start off the celebration at one of the local museums in Manchester, New Hampshire, and they have 4 Monet originals. And they're not Claude's best work, but one of them is one of his earliest works. It was like 1850 when it was painted. But anyway, so I love Monet stuff, but you get to see his style progress as he gets older. From his first stuff is not quite as muted and I'm not going to get into art discussions, but there is a definite change from his earlier stuff into the stuff that came just before he died. But so all this stuff like Monet and Picasso, they come along and they're once in a lifetime type of thing, and they turn the art world on its head. They invent new aesthetic styles, and they forge movements such as Impressionism or abstract expressionism or what I don't get Picasso. Sorry, I just don't. By the way, Picasso is also one of those guys who had his earlier works is a lot more normal. Picasso didn't get into that strange abstract kind of puzzle-looking kind of stuff until later in his life. I'm not a fan of later Picasso. His earlier stuff is actually very, what's it, Romanesque, I guess you could call it, Greek-esque. I don't know all the art terms. I know a little bit about art enough to make me dangerous, but that's it. But with this said, could the next big shakeup be the work of a machine? An artificial intelligence has been developed that produces images in unconventional styles. As much of its output has already been given the thumbs up by members of the public. The idea is to make art that is novel, but not too novel, says Marion Mazzone, an art historian at the College of Charleston in South Carolina. So for those people who think that freeing mankind up from the drudgery of everyday work so they can be artistic, well, evidently we're going to have robots and AI who's going to do our art stuff too.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive,
sexist, and racist. And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand For each other. For our nation. For us all. The few. The proud. The Marines.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 here on the Rod Eccles Show. It is a Friday. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Yes, it is Friday, July number 7 in the year of our Lord 2017. As we keep marching along into July, it is the end of the week. As we get ready to slide on into celebrating some increased freedoms, thanks to President Trump. And there are lots of people all over the globe that are not happy about that, by the way. They're really not. So Fridays, just about anything goes. You can use the number 603-835-3226 to talk about just about anything that may be on your mind. And, we'll cover a bunch of stuff this morning. Still have some more stuff coming up. No, we're done with George Clooney. Here's something from the global warming perspective, if you will. I know some people are saying, oh, geez, here we go. Well, now, hang with me here, because this is I have said this before. And why do I know this? Because I investigate, I study, I get to the facts. So I've known this sort of information, but here it is again listed in the Daily Caller. A study finds temperature adjustments account for nearly all of the warming in current climate data. And that is right. A new study found adjustments made to global surface temperature readings by scientists in recent years are totally inconsistent with published and credible U.S. and other temperature data. Thus, it is impossible to conclude from the 3 published global average surface temperature GAST data sets that recent years have been the warmest ever. Despite current claims of record-setting warming, according to a study published back in June 27th by 2 scientists and a veteran statistician. This is all done. The peer-reviewed study tried to validate current surface temperature data sets managed by NASA, the NOAA, and the UK's Met Office, all of which make adjustments to raw thermometer readings. Skeptics of man-made global warming have criticized the adjustments, and indeed, they have actually. these adjustments. Now, of course, they'll tell you, well, we had to make these adjustments because we have equipment that is more accurate today than it was back then, so we have to adjust the temperatures that we have on record from back then. Now, the problem that some people have had with these data sets, as they call them, going back in time, they've made the temperature adjustments to be warmer at some periods than they actually were, like the mini ice age. We know there was a mini ice age because, people like Charles Dickens wrote about it, and there was snow in England, in London at the time. But these adjustments would have made it too warm for a certain period of time. And the adjustments would have made it too cool during the 30s, during the Dust Bowl, the 20s and 30s Dust Bowl era. It was warm and droughtful, but the adjustments made it too cool for there to be such a drought. There would have been, basically, there wouldn't have been a drought. And there wouldn't have been a Dust Bowl if the adjusted temperatures, as we know them, if they were accurate back in those days, as they have adjusted them. I've mentioned this many times before. And the other problem is that they're not accounting for microclimates or climate islands. Like, well, for instance, that we know that there are microclimates or heat islands, as they often call them, in major metropolitan areas. The inner cities can be warmer at certain times of the year, and they can also be colder at certain times of the year, simply because of the surface temperatures. And the surface temperatures are a reflection of all the buildings and pavement. But it has very little effect outside. In other words, think of a heat island as being you have a fire outside. You have a fire pit. Well, the closer you are to the fire and the fire pit, the warmer you're going to be, right? But as soon as you get, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 feet away from the fire, from an average size fire pit, you don't really feel anything. There's no effect on the environment outside of that circle, that inner circle. So it's the same thing with city heat islands. And they try to make it sound like, well, heat islands are affecting the entire globe, but it has very little effect, if any at all, outside of the city limits. Just like that, if you have a bonfire, sure, the bonfire is bigger, so the effect away from the bonfire is going to be a little bit more. But again, once you get, I don't know, depending on the size of the bonfire, once you get 10 or 50 outside of the burn circle, basically, there's nothing. You don't feel anything. But there's more here. More on this stuff from the Deplorable Climate Science blog. They reported something that went amiss in all the wonderful leftist media. July 4th, 2017 was the coldest July temperature ever recorded in the Northern Hemisphere. So much for all this global warming and the ice polar caps melting. Greenland just set a record for the coldest July temperature ever reported in the Northern Hemisphere at minus 33 degrees Celsius. That's freaking cold in July. Yeah, well, it was reported in Paris, believe it or not. But as the coldest July temperature on record, the temperature took a massive dip. Climate experts immediately responded to the record cold by saying Greenland is melting faster than expected at minus 33 degrees. Yeah, it's so cold that new ice is forming, but the ice in Greenland is still melting. Wait, has anybody ever... Well, what does it take in Celsius for water to freeze? 0 degrees Celsius is the freezing point of water. It was minus 33. In other words, 33 degrees below 0 Celsius. And you had scientists telling us that the ice in Greenland was melting when the temperature was 33 degrees below zero. How does that happen? Is there some special kind of ice? So sunny summer days are fueling Greenland ice melt. This is going back to June 28th. We have sunny summer days, and just yesterday, scientists grappled with the mysteries of Greenland's ice-melting ice sheet. It hasn't been above zero in Iceland in 2 weeks, according to this story. So how is it over the past week to week and a half we're getting these reports that the ice is melting in Greenland? It hasn't been above zero. It's like living in freaking Alaska in January there in Greenland right now. I'm just asking the questions, folks. So this whole notion that this is more proof that we've got hysteria and stupidity on the side of the left when it comes to this man-made climate change. Because somehow when ice does not melt or it actually grows, somehow it's melting. In temperatures that we, as far as we know, it's impossible for ice to melt. It's just I've never seen ice melt at below zero, below freezing. Water, the freezing temperature of water. I've never seen ice melt at below freezing. Does anybody? Well, not unless, I don't know, maybe somebody, hey, maybe these chemtrail people, they're spreading rock salt all over because that'll do it. Rock salt will melt ice for you. That's why we throw it, or calcium carbonate. So maybe that's what they've been doing in these chemtrail planes. They've been flying over Greenland, spraying calcium carbonate or rock salt or something on the ice to get it to melt even below zero. But other than that, just normal, without being assisted by mankind in some sort of chemical. I don't. Is there a lot of salt or anything in Greenland? I don't know. I've never been there. Is there a lot of salt in Greenland? Is the salt coming up from underneath the ground and it's causing it to melt even below zero? Is that what's causing So if that's the case, then it isn't mankind that's causing the great melt-off, is it? It's salt and calcium. But here's something that it might be, let's scare the hell out of the earth again. Here is something from news.com.au. The sun might plunge into deep solar minimum, which could cause part of the Earth's atmosphere to collapse. Yes, that is the headline. And as I have learnedly said before, the sun has a bigger influence and effect on our climate and weather than anything else there is. There's nothing that man can do that could even come close to matching the effect of that. The sun creates our climate. Because without the sun, there would be no climate. It'd be like Pluto. Just a solid mass of frozen nothingness. There would be no climate. By the very fact that we're within this so-called magic life zone, golden zone, it should tell you something. The sun has because if we were too close, we'd be like Venus and Mercury. Everything would burn up. The atmosphere would have burned off. There'd be no life there either. So, we're in this golden zone. Even Mars is on the edge of the golden zone. It's kind of cold for us, but I suppose there could be life on Mars if it was adapted to such atmospheric conditions. But again, the sun has an effect on Mars too. But that's not given major consideration when it comes to these global warming, global man-made, global climate-changing theorist idiots. So the sun might plunge into deep solar minimum, which could collapse part of the Earth's atmosphere. Scientists suspect that the sun is on the verge of a deep solar minimum. It's about to shower us with rays so intense that part of our atmosphere will collapse, so says the report. Space scientists reckon we are on the verge of a deep solar minimum, which is a period of low activity. Reckon? What was it last time you heard anybody say reckon? This is my great-grandfather used to say reckon. I reckon. Anyway. Unlike the name suggests, this could cause an outer layer of the atmosphere called the thermosphere to contract. And it's not entirely clear what the effect of this could be on our planet. Well, let's just say the thermosphere does get affected by the deep solar minimum. Guess who's going to get blamed for that? From the leftists. Yeah, man. Yep. Somehow it's going to be our fault. See, if we didn't, drive SUVs, we'd be fine. It's our fault for driving SUVs.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
Well, this stuff is really real, I should say, because it is backed up by, real space scientists like NASA. Evidently, what's going on with the sun, and this is a cyclical cycle. This is not something, obviously, it's not something we can here on this tiny little planet is going to. Nothing we are doing here is going to be able to affect. I'm surprised that there isn't some sort of conspiracy theorist out there talking about how we're affecting the sun. We're shooting we're in secret. We're shooting rockets into the sun to affect the way the sun radiates and functions. I'm surprised we don't have any conspiracy theorists like that. We got conspiracy theorists for everything else. Maybe they got together with the flat Earth conspiracy people, and the flat Earth conspiracy people told the chemtrail conspiracy people that there is no possible way to even touch the sun because we don't have anything that could break through the firmament in the sky because the firmament is solid, so it's the only way to keep the atmosphere, and it has to be solid. So we're you can't do it. Any case, that's flat Earth, by the way. That's what they believe. They believe that there's actually the sky has got this firmament called a dome, and it's solid. You can't go through it. That's what keeps it, not gravity, keeps the atmosphere in place. It's this firmament. Yeah. Anyway, Professor Yvonne Ellsworth at the University of Birmingham, England, believes that a fundamental change in the nature of the sun's magnetic dynamo, may be in progress. It's backed up by NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory's daily snaps, which have shown a spotless sun for 44 days in a row now. This led scientists to believe that it's nearing a tumultuous period not seen since 2008. The solar minimums are known to spark lots of cosmic ray activity that can penetrate our atmosphere. And these cosmic beams cause air showers of particles when they hit our atmosphere. They pose a health hazard to astronauts, and a single cosmic ray could cause a satellite to malfunction or shut down. So I guess that's what we need. We need a cosmic ray gun. That's what we need we need cosmic ray guns now. Well, I guess we have the rail guns that the Navy is testing, but cosmic ray guns. But this will obviously also affect our weather and climate. But you don't hear about that from the left, do you? Now, it's not entirely clear why low solar activity causes our thermosphere to collapse or what it might be doing to our planet. But when it happened back in 2008 and 2009, scientists suggested that climate change might be adding to the cooling and contracting in the upper layers of the atmosphere. Oh, of course. There it is. So, what we're doing down here is going to affect what the sun does up there. I was unaware that mankind was so powerful. Just burning a little bit of oil could do so much damage. It's amazing. We should ban this if oil is that bad. If it is that powerful, it should have been banned a long time ago. Now, I know that's what the left is trying to do. They're trying to ban oil. But it should have been banned a long time ago if it's that powerful. In fact, not only should it be banned, but we should make sure that we extract all the oil that there is on the planet and have it absconded, booted from the planet. We should load it onto rockets and send it towards the sun, never to be utilized by mankind ever, ever, ever again, because it is so bad. It all needs to be thrown off the planet, does it not? Because it's unnatural. Oh, wait, are you telling me that it is natural because it comes out of the ground and oil is created by the earth? Well, yeah, and are you telling me that volcanoes spew up all kinds of chemicals that are natural, that affect the climate and the weather patterns in far away places from wherever there's a volcanic eruption? Are you telling me that volcanoes actually erupting under the ocean affect the climate of the oceans? Yeah, that happens too. So, are we the only ones affecting anything down here? No, but according to the leftists, yeah, we are. And so we should take all that unnatural oil, load it up to, however many rockets it's going to take, and get it the hell off the planet because, we should stop producing oil because it's so unnatural. And we should plug up all the holes in the earth and call it a day, because oil is bad. Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
Six 603-835-3226. Welcome back. You know, there are some issues going on across this country as far as taxation and budgets are concerned for municipalities and states. And everybody's focused right now on the state of Illinois and the state of California and their financial woes, but they're not the only ones. The long liberal bastion-run city of Hartford, Connecticut, hires a law firm to consider bankruptcy filing. Mayor seeks advice as new fiscal year starts without a state budget and nearly $50 million deficit. The city of Hartford, Connecticut, has retained a law firm in order to Greenberg and Taurig LLP as its restructuring counsel as it weighs whether to file for bankruptcy. Now understand this. For Hartford, Connecticut, once the world's insurance capital, think of the Hartford Insurance Company. Lots and lots of insurance companies were headquartered in and around Hartford, Connecticut, and in Connecticut in general. But Connecticut has systematically raised its income and business taxes, and these companies have fled the state, thus putting all this wonderful stuff in, the wonderful Connecticut liberal utopia in jeopardy. And all they've done by having a liberal, high-tax welfare kind of state is they've attracted all kinds of ne'er-do-wells who are not contributing. If you ever take a trip to Connecticut and you go to certain places like Waterbury, Connecticut, you go to Danbury, Connecticut, you go to Hartford, Connecticut, you go to what's the city that Yale is located in on the southern half of the state. You go to all these different places, what you will find is a lot of poverty. You'll find what I like to call armpit cities. You'll find giant sprawling neighborhoods of despair in the state of Connecticut. And you ask yourself, well, how did this happen? And this happened simply because you had a bunch of liberal people that they kept voting into office in Connecticut that kept saying, well, we need more money to give to our wonderful welfare recipients. So in order to do that, we got to keep raising taxes. And they've raised taxes so high that companies are still fleeing Connecticut. They're trying to escape the overly high taxes. For what? They're not getting anything in return. They're not. It's pretty bad when your taxes are so damn high that a company will seek to move its headquarters or locations to the state of New York or Massachusetts in order to get some tax relief. That's pretty damn bad. And that has been they've been trying to lure companies into Western Mass out of Connecticut, but there's not a very large educated employment base to pull. They'd have to move people in from Connecticut, which is nothing wrong with that, but western part of Massachusetts is suffering big time. Not much out that way. But it's pretty sad when the state of Massachusetts, which is called, its nickname is Taxachusetts, and New York, the Empire Tax State, seems to be a tax haven for business over Connecticut. That's pretty damn bad. And if you think it stops there, if you think that taxes are the way to go, if you think that the liberals just love paying taxes and they think that everybody should do what they do and love to pay taxes, well, how about you go over to Norway? Yeah, Norway did something very unique. They did something very unique. They put in place an easy way to pay voluntary taxes. Yeah, I mean, because, we get all these wonderful people that say, well, we need to have higher taxes, but nobody seems to be contributing and paying, the treasury of this wonderful country of ours more in tax than they have to. But they call for everybody to pay more taxes, but they don't volunteer it. So Norway introduced a way and a law for people to easily voluntarily pay higher taxes. People in Norway can pay more in tax if they think their taxes are too low. Now, Norway collected just $1,300, the equivalent in Norwegian dollars of $1,300 US in voluntary tax since June. In a nation of over 5 million people, all they got was $1,300. Now, understand that the top rate of income tax in Norway is 47%. How would you like to have a tax bill of 47%? That would be the federal rate. The federal income tax rate of 47%. Here in the well, if it was in the USA, 40, that's insane. Nearly 50%. Let's see if we can take a call here this morning. 817, you're live on the Rod Eccles Show. What you got?
Coming from FEMA Region 6. What's going on, Ron?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Nice Friday. All right, so I was wanting to call earlier about the whole climate change debacle that you're talking about, but I was currently busy. But I'm going to go ahead and hit you up with some facts. So you got these climate change conspiracy theorists that want to talk about the Earth's atmosphere, how there's too much carbon monoxide that's burning holes in our atmosphere, which is causing the world to heat. And they had to change the whole climate change, they had to change the name from to climate change because they knew it was bullcrap. So go ahead and hit you up some quick facts. 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 0.9 argon, and hear this, 0.03 carbon monoxide. That's a very small percentage. Very small percentage.
Understand this planet has to have some CO2 in order for plant life to survive.
Exactly. They release oxygen, and we need a. So them trying to start this, and they've already put it in context, and a lot of countries are dealing with carbon footprints, carbon tax, and I think it's a bunch of bull. Just trying to find another way to tax the person to get more money out of them, and that's why everybody that says climate change is real and that the ice caps are melting and and it's been 100 years and within the whole 100 years, the world has only heated up 1%. That's not that much.
Well, if you take into consideration the story where they actually how and when they adjusted the temperatures, it hasn't even heated up.
No, it doesn't.
Because
it doesn't.
So and I've said this time and time again that this planet, in man's history on this planet, has been both warmer and colder than it is today. Now, obviously, if we've only had the opportunity or the ability to affect the climate is only since the Industrial Revolution, which is, about 150 years old now, that's about as long as we've had the opportunity. So if you go back to the 1850s, let's just say, okay, so we were able to start affecting the climate in the 1850s. Then how do you explain all of that wonderful climate fluctuation prior to 1850 AD? Going all the way back to when man first started keeping records in 5000 BC. How do you explain all that? Of course, they can't explain it because what they're currently trying to do over the past 150 to 200 years is a bunch of BS, and they know it. And they get caught every single time when you try to get them to explain those anomalies. I mean, there's just no other way around it. It's a money grab and it's a power grab. You're absolutely correct. That's all it is. Money and power. That's all they want.
Well, and they want another way to control how we drive, how we use our air and our electricity, and it goes on and on and on. They want to control what we're doing.
There are a couple of main reasons for that. We have to understand that for the longest time in man's history, we've had this type of oligarchy system where there have been the haves and the have-nots. And the only way you got to be in the haves is if you were born into it or you were given permission to join it. And it was rare that you were given permission to join it, i.e., if you joined it, you most likely had to take it by force. So this is royalty and all their courts throughout history. If you were a pauper, you were rarely ever allowed to join the royalty class. You couldn't do it. It was, 99.99999% of the time you would have been rejected, and if you even tried and attempted, they would have killed you for trying. So now we're at this point where having all of this stuff that was once relegated to the wealthy, the powerful, the royal class is now affordable by the general masses. Well, they can't have that. That doesn't make them special now. So if electricity is cheap, that everybody, even the lowest of us, can afford it, well, it doesn't make the wonderful, rich, powerful any special because they have electricity too. So they've got to be able to figure out a way to be able to control us so they feel and appear to be more special than the average person. And the country that is the most evil when it comes to leveling the playing field is the United States, because the United States basically created and invented the middle class, which allows people to get stuff at a reasonable price that it used to only be for the wealthy. So that's why we're the great Satan people. I mean, seriously, this is why everybody comes against us, because we've taken the speciality out of their world. And we've brought it down to a level that just about anybody can afford it. Can you really?
It's ridiculous. One more topic before I take any more of your time up. But I'm pretty sure you've heard of her. Her name is Linda Sarsour.
Yes.
She's the American, born and raised in America. Big on Muslim, Sharia law. She wants the Women's March over in Washington. She's asking for a jihad against Trump. What does that sound like to you? That sounds like, because you can't say she wants a nonviolent jihad on Trump. That's like saying that, you want a nonviolent gunfight. You can't do that. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, for someone like that, I would deport her just straight up. Okay, you know what? You love your country so much, and you love the reason why she's acting like this is because she's saying that her communities, she feels like her communities are being terrorized and looked at bad and just treated like crap, and it's never changed. This is a great country we live in, and we treat each other all the same. Yeah, there's racism here and there, but it's not as bad as it used to be back in the 50s and the 40s and the 30s. So, yeah, I heard about her, and oh man, I wanted to puke so bad.
Well, she's well, I have some choice words for that lady, and I use that lady very loosely. But it's amazing to me that people who espouse, and they obviously have no idea what freedom really means or what it is, because they talk about, well, they want the freedom to do what they want to do, but at the same time that what they want to do is take away somebody else's freedom to do what they want to do. It's amazing to me, like as if they have this superiority complex that is absolutely amazing, and to even talk about women's rights march in the Islamic community, where women are not allowed to drive cars, where they're not allowed to hold public office, where they're not allowed to be educated past the 8th grade, where they're not allowed to walk outside of their house without a male family member present, where they're not allowed to dress the way they want to dress. I mean, if they speak up to somebody the wrong way, they can be stoned to death, or buried up to their neck and then stoned, or have their throat slit in an honor killing, or be forced to have, for female mutilation. This is just insanity, where they talk about having freedom and women's rights and all this stuff that they're
Why would you want to live like that?
Exactly.
Especially for a woman, for a feminist. Excuse me for interrupting you. For a feminist to wear the burqa and the bee suit, especially in this heat, Texas heat. Oh, this is horrible. But to wear all that and to not have the rights to speak your mind and go out whenever you want and drive a car and wear a bikini and just great all American stuff. Why would you want that? That's not feminism. It's not.
I don't know. I got to tell you, my friend, I don't know. It drives me insane when I try to think about it. I try to bring a logical a thought to their thought process, because there isn't any. And it'll drive you insane if you try to figure it out. It will. Sorry. Well, I got to run, my friend.
Well, thanks a lot, man.
Yes, indeed. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too, brother.
I don't know, folks. I'm beside myself when I hear this. I try to avoid the Sarsour topic, but did you see the episode of Tucker Carlson last night when I forget her name? She was on there. Tucker didn't have to say anything. He was just flabbergasted. You just let her speak against Sarsour. It was an amazing thing to witness. Tucker was speechless.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and/or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
You know, I've got an idea. If you're a leftist that believes in high taxes, income taxes, you know, in order to lower the income inequality, then move to Norway. I mean, they have the highest personal income tax rate in the world at 47% is their top rate, and they don't have a lot of their tax system is not like ours with a plethora of deductions and stuff like that. You know, the government there doesn't believe in that kind of stuff. But but they do believe in taxing the hell out of you. And by the way, I didn't know Norway had a lot of oil reserves, but they evidently they did. And even with that, they still tax the hell out of their people. Now, this tax scheme to pay more taxes came about because the conservatives took a were elected and took hold of the government, and they cut some taxes, and they're, of course, leftists in Norway were saying, well, the income inequality was now going to be rampant. As if you understand, listen to what they're saying. Oh, you make too much money because you're a CEO or you own a business, so we're going to take your money from you, just to try to even things out with other people that you have nothing to do with. They're not even your employees. They're just going to give your money to people that don't even have anything to do with you. So the tax scheme was set up to allow those who want to pay more in taxes to do so in a simple and straightforward way. So said Finance Minister Siv Jensen. If anyone thinks that the tax level is too low, they now have a chance to pay more in a simple, easy, straightforward way. Obviously, very, very few of the 5.3 million Norwegians believe that they are currently undertaxed and want to pay more. But that doesn't, and that includes all these wonderful, politicians who are now, trying to get elected or reelected, talking about how the conservatives in Norway are for the rich. Siv Jensen noted that even they are not voluntarily paying more in taxes. But I think that's the one thing that they should be doing. Yes, if they believe the taxes are too low, they should volunteer to pay more.
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for beer. You want to come along?
Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back?
Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer?
With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95.
I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, the first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me. My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better, at nih.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Hour number 3 here on the Friday edition of the Rod Eccles Show.
Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Yes, indeed. Freedom Friday is the day when we take things a little bit lighter to slide on into the weekend to celebrate our growing recouping of our freedom, thanks to one by the name of President Donald J. Trump. Call-in number this morning is 603-835-3226. We'll talk about just about anything on your mind. So just keep it clean, please. Could be about in the areas of science, technology. It could be in history or current events, politics, the TV show that you watched last night, the movie that you want to go see this weekend. Just about anything. You can ask me anything, too, if you want. I may not know the answer. I'm going to tell you that up front. I don't know everything. I know a lot. I really do. Because I read a lot. And I watch a lot. And I listen a lot. So I know a lot. But I don't know everything. Unfortunately. I'm trying to be the man that knows everything. Everything that there is to know. And of course, when you get to the point where you know everything, there's something saying that that we learned that you didn't know. So, do you ever really know everything? I mean, here's a question for you. They say God is all-knowing. Does God know everything? Well, if we kind of put it in perspective, if God created everything, would it be safe to say that that because he created it, he knows everything about it? Well, when you create something, do you know everything about what you create? I I don't know. It's just a question. I'm not saying that there's an answer to a right or a wrong answer to that. I'm just asking a question. If you create something, do you know everything about what you create? I don't think. Sometimes you can probably say yes, and sometimes you can say. In any case, speaking of creating stuff, how about creating some turmoil, or I would say it's creating stupidity, but these people are already they're already dim-witted, so they're not creating any more well, they might be creating some stupidity out there in San Francisco, because they're going to be people that believe that this is actually going to help. And San Francisco becomes the first U.S. city to ban the sale of flavored tobacco products, including menthol cigarettes. Yes, the ban includes the sale of flavored nicotine-laced liquids used in electronic cigarettes. The sale of vaping liquids that taste like tobacco will still be allowed, however. The legislation kicks in on January 1st, 2018, and should be fully implemented by... Do they think this is going to get people to stop smoking? Whatever tobacco taxes that San Francisco might be sharing in, they're not going to get now, because people are going to have to go outside of the city limits to buy their flavored tobacco. The most asinine thing I've seen. So not even vaping. Now the attack, you vapors thought that you had found a way to get around all this anti-smoking stuff. And I warned you folks that if vaping kicked off and actually took off, which it has, they were going to come after you with equivalent fervor. Now, because you would always say, well, I can smoke in certain places now, and places where you can't smoke a cigarette. That is also vaping, e-cigarettes are becoming as hated on the left as regular tobacco cigarettes. There are fewer and fewer places where you can vape legally, because they will tell you, no, you can't smoke that. Well, it's not a cigarette. We don't care. You can't use e-cigarettes either. And they're throwing up signs telling you and reminding you of this. You cannot use an electronic cigarette on an airplane. But it's not tobacco. It's not real smoke. Well, you can't smoke it. So I know we had all these wonderful hipsters that thought, well, e-cigarettes, that they were smarter and better than tobacco smokers. Turns out that you guys are probably not as bad, if not worse, than tobacco smokers, because now you're flavoring all your liquids, your vaping liquids. Some of them even taste like tobacco. Well, why would you want something that tastes like tobacco? I don't know why. You're smoking a pretend cigarette. They've gone past these pretend cigarette things now. These vape things are just they're ridiculous, and I often notice people. These things are kind of large now. They used to be like the. Well, I guess you can still get the cigarette versions, but they've become rather large now. And I think it's hilarious when I see somebody vaping and these things are so big, but they're trying to hide the fact that they have this big thing in their hand. Like, give it up. The thing is bigger in your hand. Why are you trying to hide it? But anyway, so California, or San Francisco, California. Another reason not to visit California. I mean, I've been to San Francisco a couple of times. But I got to tell you, California and San Francisco keep inventing ways to keep me from visiting. Seriously. So San Francisco has become the first U.S. city to ban this. And this is from the Daily Mail, by the way. There aren't equivalent stories to this in the American lamestream media, it begs the question, why not? What is it the lamestream media doesn't want you to know about the great San Francisco smokeout? The legislation was approved by the city's Board of Supervisors several weeks ago and will be introduced on January 1, 2018. Happy New Year. It's expected to be fully implemented by April of 2018. Authorities unanimously approved the measure, which bans the sale of flavored nicotine-laced liquid used in electronic cigarettes and flavored tobacco products. They said that nicotine mask and cotton candy, banana cream, mint, and other flavors entices children into a lifetime of addiction. They can't smoke it, so how the hell are they going to be enticed into getting it? It's not. You got to be 18 or 21 in some places now for tobacco products or tobacco-like products. So you can't get an e-cigarette if you're 12 years old. So how is that going to entice a 12-year-old to smoke if they can't get the product? The reasoning behind this is asinine. It makes no logical sense. And I didn't realize, I thought, according to you vapors, that this whole thing with vaping was not addictive. Well, you've just been told by the city of San Francisco that if you have cotton candy flavored tobacco in your liquid, in your vaping liquid, it is going to get you addicted for a lifetime. Just saying. I smoke cigars, and I'm not addicted to and there's more, I guess there's more nicotine in cigars than cigarettes, but I'm not addicted to cigars. I can not have a cigar anytime I don't want one. Do I always want a cigar? No, I don't always want a cigar. Other cities have passed laws reducing access to flavored vaping liquids as well and flavored tobacco, but San Francisco is first in the country to approve a sales ban. Well, why don't they just eliminate the actual use of flavored tobaccos? If they're that bad, why not just ban the whole damn product? The ordinance claims that the cost of tobacco use in the city is about $380 million each year for the health care expenses and lost productivity. So if it's costing the city that much money, again, just ban the use of it. Why would you want to keep something that is so devastating to society, your society, as a legal product? I know people are saying, Rod, they're going to try to ban it. They're going to try to ban it. Yeah, they did that with alcohol. That worked out well, didn't it? Prohibition? Just some of the dumbest things I've ever seen the governments try to do in order to try to force people to behave in a manner in which those in government want them to behave. People, this is the United States of America. We have a right to choose how we live our life. If we want to smoke, then smoke. If you want to vape, then vape. What's the big frickin' deal? And considering that there is no secondhand smoke in vaping, so you don't even have that argument. So who's it harming? You can't protect people from themselves. That's not the government's job. It's about as bad as a seatbelt law. Well, we're gonna give you a ticket for $120 because you didn't have your seatbelt on. Why? Well, we're here to protect you. I can protect myself, thank you very much. I don't need the government charging me $120 for me to make my own decisions. Basically what it is. Government charges you big money for you to be able to make your own decision. That's not freedom. Speaking of freedom, Malaysia and Indonesia Muslim groups call for Starbucks boycott. Leaders of Indonesia's second largest mainstream Muslim group also denounced the chain. Starbucks. Why? Well, you people on the left better pay attention to this. Muslim groups in Malaysia and Indonesia have called for a boycott of Starbucks because the coffee chain's support of Starbucks support for LGBTQ rights. Now, I thought I saw some signs this year during the Gay Pride Month of you idiot, liberal, wonderful, all-inclusive gay people showing support for Muslims and Islam because Donald Trump was against Islam, you think, so you're going to be for them. Well, guess who's against you? Well, now here it is. They're actually calling for a boycott of Starbucks because Starbucks supports LGBT rights. Malaysian group Perkasa, which supports a hardline form of Islam and nationalism, this week called on its more than 500,000 members to stay away from Starbucks coffee shops. This week and last, leaders of Indonesia's second largest mainstream Muslim group, Muhammadiyah, with an estimated 29 million members, denounced the chain. The groups were apparently reacting to comments made several years ago by former CEO Howard Schultz in support of gay rights that drew renewed attention amid an increasingly anti-LGBT climate in both predominantly Muslim countries. Now, at a 2013 shareholders meeting, Schultz responded to a shareholder who thought the coffee maker's support of gay marriage hurt the bottom line. Not every decision is an economic decision, Schultz said. The lens in which we are making that decision is through the lens of our people. Well, let's see how far their chain goes in Malaysia if most of the Malaysian people do not go to Starbucks because Starbucks supports LGBT special rights. I'm just saying. I want to see how many little, what do they call, little gay boys out there and gay girls out there next year are sporting pro-Islam posters. Let's just see how many of them still do.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
603-835-3226. That is the number to call should you wish to join me here live. You know, I personally, I don't vape. But if you want to, I don't smoke cigarettes either. I think cigarettes stink. I think they're nasty. But if you want to smoke them, I don't have a problem with it. You don't get to smoke them in my car or in my house. But if you want to, if I go to somebody else's house and they smoke, well, I have to deal with it. Plain and simple. I don't have a problem with it. So it's like when you used to, go to a bar. Yeah, well, we got to ban smoking in bars because, the bartenders and the people in the bars, they don't have a choice. Yeah, they do. They don't have to go to the bar. You don't go to a bar for your health. Well, I don't know. Maybe some people do because alcohol can be seen as as a health product depending on the type of alcohol. Here is a federal judge actually has a little bit of logic out there in Hawaii. Federal judge turns back Hawaii's motion on Trump's travel ban. But wait till you hear why. It's pretty amazing, actually. A federal judge has denied an emergency motion filed by the state of Hawaii that would broaden the familial exceptions to President Trump's so-called travel ban. In a motion filed by the state after the U.S. Supreme Court reinstated portions of the ban on June 26, Attorney General Doug Chin argued that the Trump administration wrongly excluded grandparents and other relatives from the list of family members who can obtain visas to travel in the United States. Yeah, why not just, include everybody? Under the ban, people from the 6 Muslim majority nations that are impacted by the ban who sought new visas needed to have either a close relationship with a family member, as in parent, a spouse, a son, daughter, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, or sibling, or any such as a entity such as a business within the United States. Last week, attorneys for the federal government said that the close family relationship allowed under President Trump's travel ban were based on definitions outlined by immigration law. The state's emergency motion, denied yesterday by Judge Derek Watson in Honolulu, sought to make sure that the ban couldn't be enforced against other family members such as grandparents, aunts, and uncles. In his ruling, Watson reasoned that since the portion of the ban Hawaii was seeking to clarify was actually authored by the Supreme Court, the state's lawyers should seek clarification directly from them. This is why the judiciary branch does not and cannot, under constitutional law, legislate from the bench. The court, the order said, will not upset the Supreme Court's careful balancing and equitable judgment, nor would this district court presume to substitute its own understanding of the stay for that of the originating court's exercise of discretion and judgment. But that means that, this court will, in other words, this court will not second guess the Supreme Court. No, this judge will not second guess another judge. But this judge will second guess elected politicians who have the full constitutional authority to do what Donald Trump did. And instead, what you'll get is a bunch of 8 or 9 people who will decide on themselves, well, you know what, we'll make this legal by rewriting it. Well, that's unconstitutional. And so now a state, whether I agree with the state or not, tries to get some relief because they believe that this law or this whatever it is wrong. They go into court and the court says, well, now I can't be judge of that because a higher judge has said differently. So they're unaccountable. So you got to go directly to them because they're unaccountable. That's not the way our system of justice works. Folks, this is so illegitimate. These liberals don't even realize what they just did. They just turned our entire legislative and jurisprudence system on its head. And they thought they were being clever, and they thought they were saving, some people's so-called rights, which didn't have any rights at all. And what they ended up doing was changing the entire system in such a way where even they are locked out of so-called justice. Well, I hope they're happy now. So now we set up a system where judges can write laws from the bench, and if they do, then every other judge out there is going to say, well, no, I got to take a hands-off approach. Then, this judge wrote it, so you got to go to them. They're unaccountable here. You got to go to the only person that can account for that justice is that justice himself. You have no other alternative. That's not within the purveyance of our Constitution, folks. It's not. I don't care who you are. It's just not.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. Woo! There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Bring the rain.
Trump really wowed them over there in Poland. If you haven't seen it or heard about it, or, well, if you only listen to the lamestream media, then you probably don't know about it. But Polish crowd was chanting Donald Trump and USA, USA. Trump gave probably one of the most rousing, amazing, important, great speeches of his entire life. And even many in the lamestream media were turning to each other saying, oh, yeah, that was actually a pretty damn good speech. But they're not going to talk about it. But he hit all the cylinders, and he threw, as they like to say, he threw shade at Putin, at Xi Jinping of China, at North Korea. He threw shade at anybody who was for open borders, which included Angela Merkel. I mean, he was not holding any punches. Now, I find it I think I've mentioned this before. I find it amazing that what do we think of Poland? Well, we have the Polish jokes, Polak, stupid Polak type of thing. Isn't it amazing that right now it seems like Poland is one of the smartest countries in Europe when it comes to economics and immigration there, and this whole refugee thing? Poland hasn't. I don't think Poland has had a single since all this nonsense started. Poland hasn't had a single terrorist act within its borders. They don't have any refugees. I wonder if there's a correlation. As a matter of fact, much of Eastern Europe has very limited to no refugee immigration going on within their countries. And guess what? They have little to no terrorist activity going on in their nations. I wonder if there is a correlation. Zero refugees, zero Islamic terror. Could there be a correlation? Britain, Italy, France, Sweden, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons, Germany, and tons and tons and tons of and Brussels of these wonderful refugees from the Middle East, and they have tons and tons and tons and tons of terroristic activity and terroristic casualties. I wonder if there's a correlation. I don't know. How are we going to test that? I don't know. Well, you say, well, Rod, we don't have that problem here. Oh, we don't? we have a bunch of we've had a bunch of terrorist activities here that have claimed the lives of many. Well, Rod, most of them are homegrown. No, bull crap, they were homegrown. Just because the kid was born here, and many of them, they weren't born here. They came here as children. They were just raised here. Well, they're American citizens. Most of them were not natural citizens. They were naturalized citizens. There is a difference. I know you leftists don't understand the difference, but see, not everybody, in order to be a natural citizen, you actually have to be born here. If you want to be a natural citizen of France, you got to be born in France, to French parents. Basically, I mean, we're one of the few countries that just says, okay, you can come here at any time you want, for any reason you want, even if you're an illegal, if you cross the border illegally, drop your kid here, and then that kid is going to automatically be a U.S. citizen. Most countries in the world do not follow that method of madness. They don't. First of all, you got to be there legally, and it depends. I mean, if you're just passing through, if you're stopping in France on your way to Germany, let's say, and all of a sudden you go into labor and you have your kid, you're not going to be a French citizen. The French, they're going to look at you and say, "You are not intending to be here." So you will have to go on to Germany, where they will possibly allow you to be a citizen there, but you are not a citizen of France here. They don't allow that kind of crap. But we do. But anyway, the Polish crowd has chanted Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. US, and of course, our lamestream media is trying to play this down big time. They tried to play this. They couldn't. The CNN especially, they tried. See, there aren't many people out there greeting Donald Trump. They don't really like Donald. What other world leader arrives and travels down the avenue at 12:30 in the morning and still has crowds at 12:30 in the morning? That's 12:30 a.m. It's still dark out. Everybody's in bed and asleep, and they're out there instead on a weekday night because they're all going to get up and go to work in the morning. They're out there on a weekday night greeting the United States president. That doesn't happen very often. Just saying. At a wreath-laying ceremony in Krasinski Square, the excited crowd broke out into an American-style USA, USA chant. Later during Trump's prepared remarks, the crowd repeatedly interrupted the speech with a Donald Trump chant. He's more loved in Poland than he is in his own country. And yet you have all these wonderful liberals in this country telling you exactly how much he's hated in Europe. Well, the only people that hate him in Europe are the wonderful globalist leaders like Angela Merkel. They're the only. Every time Donald Trump goes somewhere over there, the crowds over there are chanting USA and Donald Trump. They love him. It's amazing. Well, we can't have Trump being the equivalent kind of a political rock star that Obama was. Remember when Obama was loved by everybody, supposedly? Yeah, and then towards the end of his reign of terror here in the USA, he was starting to be more like Hillary Clinton. He wasn't garnering anywhere near the crowds he was. But Donald Trump, on the other hand, nobody's supposed to like Donald Trump. Donald Trump was supposed to be ignorant. He's supposed to be, brutish and boorish and just uncouth and undiplomatic. And nobody anywhere is going to like Donald Trump. In fact, the entire world is very disappointed that the United States has elected Donald Trump as president. And then wherever Donald Trump goes, everybody loves him. They show out en masse, with waving the U.S. flag and chanting, Donald Trump, go, Donald Trump, and USA, USA. And the only people that have an issue with him are the globalist leaders, who most of them probably cheated to stay in or get in office. I'm just putting that out there. I cannot believe that German people are actually leaving Germany because of Angela Merkel's policies, and yet they reelect her. I have a hard time with that one. Sorry. You know, if anybody, I don't know, maybe I still say if anybody was trying to influence our election, they were trying to influence to get Hillary elected. You think well, maybe the Ukrainians wanted Trump because Trump is now, he's fully, the Ukrainian president was here and he's like, my good friend from Ukraine, we're going to back you, buddy. We are going to back you. I'm going to go to Putin and I'm going to give Putin what for. And everybody's like, oh, Putin's going to eat Trump up for, have Trump for lunch. Putin is so intimidating. And at the beginning of the show, I told you exactly what happened there. Putin tried to extend his hand. Yeah, the good old power play. And Trump just overshadowed and pounced on Putin, basically. I know it was just an opening salvo, but the whole point that people would think that Putin would put one over on Trump, they got burned by that opening salvo. And I fully, if you missed it, go back and listen to the first half hour of the program. I fully explained it. Look, don't get me wrong. I don't trust Putin. I don't particularly like him, but I know who Putin is. I like him for the fact that he is a leader of his people. I dislike him for the fact that I think he's just evil. Well, he is. He's former KGB. He's still, he's still pretty much a communist. He's our enemy. But I can respect him. He's a formidable foe. He's not an idiot. I don't think he's as brilliant as some people claim, but he's not an idiot. And he did run rings around Obama. That helped solidify him and make him seem more like a genius because evidently if you get the best of Obama, which he did almost every single time, it's going to make anybody, because they've always all said that Obama is such a smart guy. His IQ, he's the smartest president we've ever had. Well, if Obama has the highest IQ of any president we've ever had, and Putin was able to run rings around him, then I guess that means that Putin's a genius too. I never thought Putin of being a genius, but he's definitely not an idiot. He's a smart man. He's not a fool, and I don't think he suffers fools. And so everybody's expecting Trump to cower in the face of little Putin, and Trump just totally overbearingly just overshadows the man at their first ever face-to-face meeting. It's brilliant. I'm sorry. I'm not waxing eloquent on Donald Trump. I'm just responding to what I am seeing, and what I saw. I don't know. Will there be some changes in world policy in the Middle East and Syria and in the Korean Peninsula after this G20 summit? I'm not saying that there is going to be, but after Trump gets a hold of these people, I wouldn't be surprised if there was at least some movement in the direction that the U.S. wants them to go. Just saying. Don't doubt me.
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Have a legal problem and need some serious legal advice? Then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Any facts we say here are probably wrong, and any analysis of the law should not be followed.
There you go. Reasonable men are here to take a twisted look at the law.
Stack your hair right.
Learn in hand. Best name in law school.
Check us out on iTunes, reasonablemen.com, or on your favorite podcast app.
Reasonable men are
are back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
McConnell. For those of you following the Obamacare repeal saga, I don't even know. You can't even call this if you were to write this, you couldn't even call it a book of fiction. How bad this is being done, how badly this is being approached. Anyway, McConnell says a limited health care bill is needed if Obamacare repeal dies. The Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell pushes for a limited measure if the GOP's Obamacare repeal fails. McConnell argues that a smaller bill would have to focus on helping private insurance markets. The senator's comments indicate that Republicans may have to negotiate with Democrats over fixes for the health care system. Just repeal Obamacare already. That is what the American people have been asking for. We shouldn't even be. We should be. We have been demanding it, and you people in Washington have been ignoring us. Well, and they've been. We've let them ignore us, basically, folks. We have. We've let these people down in Washington, D.C. We've let them insulate themselves. We've let them do all sorts of things. And how have we let them? You can probably say, we didn't let them, Rod. Yeah, we did, because we kept re-electing the same people who kept insulating themselves even further, giving themselves perks and raises and bonuses and all kinds of stuff that we could not give ourselves. And we kept re-electing them. If we didn't allow them to do that by not reelecting them, but by booting them out of Congress every time they did such a thing, then we wouldn't have half the problems that we have down in D.C. But we've allowed this to happen by constantly reelecting the same people who keep doing the same damn thing over and over, and they keep sticking us in, sticking it to us, and telling us to bend over and take it and like it. So McConnell says a limited health care bill is needed. No, it's not. What is needed is we've asked you, we've demanded that you, our representatives, abandon this notion that government needs to be involved in our health care. And instead of listening to the majority of the people who just say, just repeal it already, you keep trying to come up with your own version of Obamacare. We don't want Obamacare of any kind. Okay, let me just put it out there. We don't want Obamacare. We don't want Trump care. We don't want McConnell care. We don't want Pelosi care. We don't want Ryan care. We don't want anybody's kind of care but our own. We want to make the decisions. How is this any different from having any other kind of insurance? Yeah, the government doesn't get involved in that. You don't get involved in your homeowner's insurance policy, your car insurance, your disability insurance, your life insurance. They don't get involved in any of that kind of stuff. So how is it that they get involved in our health insurance? Well, besides, just the very fact that health insurance, because it has to do with how you live, that is why. Because if you can control that, there's a lot you can control about a person. If you control their health insurance, and this is one of the things that Ronald Reagan warned us about back in the 1960s. About this, this was fascism had control of the healthcare system. Communism has control of their healthcare system. And it all sucks. Socialism has control of the healthcare system in many countries, and it sucks. It's overly expensive. They ration the care. They have death panels, and they decide if you live or die. A panel of government officials is going to decide if you live or... Oh, okay, yeah, well, this person has breast cancer. Well, they're a poet, and we like their poetry, and we think they contribute to society. Even though 95% of the population has never read or heard of any of their poetry, they're beloved by the proletariat, so they're going to take care of them. But you over there, you are a pro-American, pro-freedom, pro-Constitution radio talk show host, and we don't like you, so no, you're going to die. That's what's going to happen, folks. Don't doubt me on this. If we keep this going down this path of put anybody's name in front of it, care system, we're going to have that sort of thing happening. It's the way it's always worked. I don't know why we think it's going to be any different in this country. It's not. It's what they've always done. It's what they will always do. They will pick and choose who lives and dies. Who dies early, who lives, who gets better care, who gets better treatment. And they will bring down, if you do things that they do not like, well, maybe you smoke flavored tobacco. They will rain down the terror of government on you. Full time. That's just the way it is. But in any case, I guess I got off on a tangent there, folks. By the way, finally today, the U.S. non-farm job payroll creation for the month of June is out. U.S. non-farm payroll rose 222,000 in June. Yes, 222,000 versus 179,000 expected. Now, non-farm payrolls jumped over 220,000 in June. However, wage growth was muted. I don't know what they mean by muted. It still rose a little bit, but not enough for them, I suppose. But they tried. So everybody's excited about that, and Trump is doing his job to make America great again, and it is still going gangbusters. But in any case, we are out of time, not only for today, but for the week. I will be out on Monday, but we will be back live again after that next week. So tune in, be here. Got some important stuff to take care of on Monday. Hope you all have a wonderful summer weekend here in July. Get out to the beaches if you can. Just don't do like those teenagers out there in the Cape and having sex out in the water. That's a no-no. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out, folks.
Damn, it feels good to be Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.